The Talking Baobab Tree. In the heart of a small African village called Mwezi, there stood an enormous baobab tree. Its trunk was as wide as a house, and its branches stretched out like giant arms, giving shade to the villagers. Everyone in Mwezi loved the tree, but no one knew its secret, that it could talk. One bright afternoon, a curious girl named Amina was playing near the baobab tree. She loved pretending to be an adventurer, always searching for hidden treasures and magical places. As she skipped around the tree, she heard a soft whisper. Startled, she looked around, but saw no one. The whisper seemed to come from the tree itself. "Amina," the voice murmured, "come closer." Amina's heart pounded. Could the tree really be talking? She hesitated but then took a step closer, placing her hand on the rough bark. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice trembling a little. "It's me, the baobab tree," the voice replied. "I've been here for hundreds of years, watching over the village. I have many stories to tell, but only to those who truly listen." Amina's eyes widened. She had heard stories about magical trees from her grandmother, but she never believed they were true. "What kind of stories?" she asked, filled with curiosity. "Stories about the past, secrets hidden under my roots, and the magic of this land," the tree said. That evening, Amina ran home to tell her parents about the talking tree. Her mother was cooking dinner and smiled, saying, "Amina, you have such a wild imagination." Her father was fixing a fishing net and chuckled, "Maybe you should write these stories down." Determined to prove she wasn't imagining things, Amina decided to visit the tree every day after school. The next afternoon, she sat under the tree and listened closely. The baobab began its first story. Long ago, this village was very different. There was a grand palace made of gold where your village now stands. A wise king lived there, but he had a greedy advisor who wanted the palace for himself. One night, the advisor tried to steal the king's treasure, but the king had hidden it beneath my roots. The advisor was caught and banished, but the treasure remains hidden to this day. Amina's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Can I find the treasure?" she asked. The tree sighed, its branches rustling in the wind. "The treasure is protected by riddles and puzzles. Only the clever and the brave can uncover it." Amina couldn't stop thinking about the hidden treasure. She told her best friend, Kofi, about the tree and its story. At first, Kofi didn't believe her, but his curiosity soon got the better of him. Together, they returned to the baobab tree. "Tree, we want to find the treasure," Amina said boldly. "What must we do?" The tree's voice was soft and ancient. "You must solve 3 riddles. Only then will I reveal the first clue to the treasure's location. Are you ready for the first riddle?" Amina and Kofi nodded eagerly. The tree's voice took on a rhythmic tone. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" The children thought hard. Kofi suddenly exclaimed, "Fire." "The answer is fire." The tree's leaves rustled approvingly. "Correct. For your next challenge, you must find an item in the village that symbolizes fire. Bring it to me, and I will give you the second riddle." Amina and Kofi ran back to the village. They thought about what could symbolize fire. They saw the blacksmith working with molten metal and thought of the matches in their homes. But they needed something special. Finally, they approached the village elder, who was tending to a fire pit. Amina explained their quest. The elder, with a knowing smile, handed them a small, carved wooden flame, a token from the village's annual festival of fire. "Take this," the elder said. "It has been blessed by the spirits of the flame. It should help you on your journey." The children thanked the elder and rushed back to the baobab tree. They placed the wooden flame at its base. "Well done," the tree said. "Here is your second riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you can't go outside. What am I? Amina and Kofi exchanged puzzled glances. They sat under the tree, thinking hard. After a while, Kofi snapped his fingers. A keyboard. It has keys but no locks. Correct again, the tree said. For your next task, bring me something that represents a keyboard. Finding something that represented a keyboard was challenging. The village didn't have many modern devices. They decided to ask the village teacher, who had a small laptop for school lessons. The teacher was intrigued by their story and gave them an old, broken keyboard that was no longer in use. This should do, she said with a smile. Good luck on your quest. The children hurried back to the baobab tree and placed the keyboard at its roots. Excellent, the tree said. Now for the final riddle. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I? This riddle was the hardest yet. Amina and Kofi thought and thought. They watched the sky as the sun set, and suddenly, Amina had an idea. A cloud. Clouds can fly and they bring rain. Correct, the tree said. You have solved all my riddles. Now, I will give you the first clue to finding the treasure. The baobab tree's voice became softer, almost like a whisper. The first clue is hidden in the heart of the village. Seek the place where the village gathers, where stories are told and songs are sung. Amina and Kofi knew exactly where to go, the village square. It was the place where everyone gathered for festivals, meetings, and storytelling nights. They rushed to the square and began searching. They looked around the large tree in the center of the square, under benches, and near the stage where performances were held. After a while, Kofi found a small, hidden compartment in the base of the stage. Inside was an old, yellowed parchment with strange markings. This must be the first clue, Amina said, examining the parchment. But what do these markings mean? The parchment was covered in symbols and drawings. Amina and Kofi couldn't make sense of it. They decided to seek help from the village elder, who was wise in the ways of ancient scripts and symbols. The elder studied the parchment carefully. These are old symbols from a time long past. They speak of a journey through the elements, earth, wind, water, and fire. You must follow the path of these elements to find the treasure. The children thanked the elder and set off to follow the path of the elements. They decided to start with earth, as it seemed like the most logical beginning. Amina and Kofi returned to the baobab tree. We have the first clue, Amina said. It tells us to follow the path of the elements. Can you guide us? The tree's voice was warm and encouraging. Begin with earth. Look for a place where the ground is rich and fertile, where life begins and grows. The children thought about the village gardens where the crops were grown. They hurried to the gardens and began searching. Among the vegetables and herbs, they found a small stone engraved with more symbols. This must be the next clue, Kofi said, picking up the stone. The stone's symbols pointed towards the wind. Amina and Kofi knew that the windiest place in the village was the hilltop where the windmill stood. They climbed the hill and searched around the windmill. Hidden behind a loose brick in the windmill's foundation, they found another parchment. This one had symbols representing water. The children hurried to the village river, the source of all water for the village. They waded through the shallow parts, searching the banks and the rocks. Under a smooth, flat rock near the riverbank, they found a small, waterproof container with yet another clue. The final element was fire. Amina and Kofi returned to the village elder's fire pit, where they had received the carved flame. They carefully searched around the pit and found a small, charred box buried in the ashes. Inside the box was a golden key and a map. The map showed the village with a path leading to the baobab tree. With the golden key and the map in hand, Amina and Kofi returned to the baobab tree. We have the key and the map, Amina said. Where do we go from here? The tree's voice was filled with warmth and pride. You have done well, brave ones. The treasure is hidden beneath my roots. Use the key to unlock the secret compartment at my base. With trembling hands, Amina inserted the golden key into a hidden lock at the base of the tree. The ground trembled slightly, and a small door opened, revealing a chest filled with gold, jewels, and ancient artifacts. Amina and Kofi couldn't believe their eyes. The treasure was real. They had uncovered a piece of history hidden beneath the ancient baobab tree. "Thank you, tree," Amina said, her voice filled with gratitude. "Remember," the tree said, "with great treasure comes great responsibility. Use it wisely to help your village and preserve the magic of this land." Amina and Kofi nodded. Thank you for joining this incredible episode. Stay tuned, like and subscribe to Animation Kids for more exciting episodes. Until next time. Enjoy.